All right, everybody, we're going to start a couple of minutes early since I am ready to go. Okay, so actually, I'm not ready to go. I've got some gloves here I'm going to be putting together. You can see on my table right in front of me, I've got quite a few 15 millimeter French infantry that I originally was going to paint 2 battalions, which would be about the amount of the brown here. And then I decided I would go ahead and paint 4 battalions because I'm comfortable painting 4 battalions, which is about the amount of the gray and the white. That's 4 battalions. And then I don't know what came over me, but I got some new French models in over the weekend, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and paint those two. So I pulled out. I have 6 battalions that I decided. I honestly think I can finish them in 1 week. If I do, well, you can see I've got like 19 colors that I need to do. So if I can do, what is that, about 3 colors a day on these guys, which I'm sure I'll do a lot more because a lot of these are just do and be done with it. So I'm sure I can do 3 colors a day, possibly, maybe, hopefully. Let me put the right glasses on. If you chat, I will not be able to see, but I'll see chat line appear, and then I'll be able to switch glasses or whatever. But I want you to know that Go For It Painting says hello. He's the first commenter of the day. And I want to say hello. Go for it. Go for it. If you're on right now, because I know there was a time when, like, he got here real early, like half an hour early. He might have left, and I don't know if he's back. Do you have, or if you're watching this later, drop it in the comments. Do you? I haven't looked. This is what I'm saying. I'm being I'm being what's the word I'm looking for? Lazy. Do you have a YouTube channel, or are you just like a viewer or whatnot? If you have a channel, let me know if you do, because I'd like to go check out some of your painting videos. Okay, so this is what we've done. I've separated the 6 battalions that I'm going to do into groups of 24, right? With voltigeurs and grenadiers and command and line with each battalion. So we're looking at the 2nd of the 108th, the 2nd of the 72nd, 1st of the 100, 2nd of the 100, 3rd of the 2nd, it looks like, and this one here is going to be a light battalion, which is 3rd of the 4th light. And I mistakenly put this drummer and this drummer on the wrong sticks. But that's okay, we'll figure it out. Okay, so I put some dark gray wash into my little dealio bob. And let's put about I put quite a bit. I put 10 drops. So that's like 2 to 1 for a total of 30 drops. Which is quite a bit of what's the word? Quite a bit of a mix. Normally I do 5 drops in a 40 drop, so like 40 drops of wash, and then or 40 drops, and then only 5 drops of flow additive. But this time I put quite a bit of flow additive on this, and what we're going to be doing is I'm just going to go ahead and wash these gray great coats with the dark gray. It's almost black. But that's good. That's going to really bring out the details. And the flow additive will let it drip maybe down or off the model altogether. Because I sprayed these guys with like a gray primer, but then I painted the greatcoats with a slate gray, and I realized that slate gray was way too light. And so I've decided, through my infinite wisdom, that I'm going to, there we go. I'm going to wash them to bring the color down and make it a lot darker. And I'm still going to wash these with a brown, like a soft tone or something later. Okay, so the wash actually looks really dark when it's going on, but as it's drying, it's starting to really make it exactly what I'm looking for. That's good. So my thought works. Now I would have gone live yesterday on President's Day. I thought about it. I got up in time to start streaming and all, and but I don't like streaming, and this is a hang up that I have, I guess. I don't like streaming when there's people in the house, doing things like cleaning or doing dishes or something, because that noise is just in the background and being obnoxious. Plus, I wasn't feeling 100% myself, so I decided against streaming. And I figured it was President's Day, why not just take a day off? And if this wash winds up puddling or cooling up, that's perfectly fine, because these guys are dirty on the trail and all that. Trying to avoid it, but if it happens, it's okay. I am going to prime, well, not prime, but I'm going to wash the brown coats as well. But I'm going to use an army painter. This Vallejo wash it's strong. It's like dark gray. It probably would work good on like a German gray tank. You know? Because it's almost black. Well, it's black when it goes on, but as it dries, I guess we'll see. I recorded a video and it's currently rendering. It's probably close to like 90% right now. So it's weird that I stream while a video is rendering because that puts a lot of strain on my resources on my computer. But it'll be okay. And because I got a pretty good, powerful computer. The video I'm rendering is my store news update, which I was hoping to get it out and uploaded to YouTube before we started today's video, but it didn't work out that way. It didn't work out that way at all. Now, I skipped over the blue guy because he doesn't need a wash. The final wash is all he'll need. When I look at the 19 paints that I have sitting out in front of me, it always reminds me of my store policy when I used to own a brick and mortar. And when we play Warhammer 40K, I always would require fully painted miniatures. I did not want people playing in the store with figures that were not fully painted. That was part of the agreement. And I had customers/players, that did not understand what the word fully meant. Fully painted. And I gave them an easy out. I said, if you put at least 4 different colors on your model, I will consider it fully painted. Because I'm thinking 4-color comic book or 4-color catalogs and stuff. Because you could get a lot of different variations in colors when you only have 4 colors of ink for like a magazine or a comic book. But what that usually meant, because the people that would have to ask were the people that were trying to get by or try to skirt the system by only doing the minimum. So they would take 4 different colors, slap it on their miniature, and they would pretend it was painted. And I would have to agree, because that was the rule that I put out. I said 4 colors. Okay, you can put 4 colors on your model. And what they would normally do is, let's say it's a Space Marine, they would spray paint one color, right? And that would be a solid color over the entire model. Then they would paint the bolter, like their guns, a metallic color of some kind. They would paint one of the shoulder pads like a white or a red or a yellow or something like that. And then they would pick out some other item like a knife or a bayonet or something, and they would paint it one color. And so the majority of the model would still be whatever color they spray painted it as, like the base coat. So like if you get ammo pouches, they would all be the same color as the majority of the armor. And I would be like, do you really consider that fully painted? Well, it has 4 colors on it. And then I look at myself and I see 20 colors. I'm like, that would be correct. Or that would be fully painted. I think I counted the washes too in that, so this should go by pretty quick. So lately, the last week or so, I've been watching a lot of modeling videos. Some of them are like 7 years old, you know, and most of them are from model railroading, because I've been trying to get ideas or learn various techniques for my terrain boards that I'm making. I mean, I know most of what they're saying, but various modelers out there, hobbyists, they all have like their own interesting take on how to accomplish these things. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That's cool. That's an interesting way to do it, etc., etc. And if I see something that I think would work for me, then I might try it, you know, when I'm doing my boards. There's one thing that I'm definitely not going to do, but I noticed that, now understand, I've been watching a lot of these videos, and I've noticed that at a certain time, history, a certain date, it was about 3 years ago, there was a change in a lot of these artists' techniques. It was a major change, and it was, in my opinion, a wasteful change, or a non-necessary change. So about 3 to 5 years ago, I don't remember exactly when, modelers, almost all of these guys are model railroaders, started using isopropyl alcohol. So what they would do is they would put their PVA on the table. They would flock it, right? And then come back later with some alcohol if they were going to add any other kind of flock or terrain texture or anything. And once they applied the alcohol, then they would apply more glue and drop their flock. And apparently, this alcohol would allow the glue to spread easier amongst the other flock. And I would have to say, I'm not going to do that. I think that's an unnecessary step. All you got to do, if you want your glue to flow, just add a little drop of water in your glue, especially if you're using PVA. Okay, 20 drops did 3 battalions. 20 drops of this anyway, the Vallejo stuff. Excuse me. Okay. Now this is War Shades or Quick Shade light tone. Speaking of which, I contacted Army Painter and told them who I was, what kind of channel I had, and that I would be interested in reviewing and using some of their product in my videos, specifically the new color that's not out yet. If that's 20, this has got to be about 14. We'll go 15. And I don't think I'm going to put as much flow additive in there. Maybe I'll put, well, obviously, I'm not going to put I'll put 6 or 7. Because it'll flow a lot better. And it's the Fanatic line. They've got, apparently, Army Painter has this Fanatic line where the bottles are, well, they're the same bottles. It's the label that goes on the bottle has a lot of interesting information on it. Specifically the trinary, which it's not really a trinary, it's a sextary. It basically has 6 colors in a row from highlight down to base coat, right? And basically you can take any 3 colors that are adjacent and do a base coat, a primary, and then the highlight, which I thought was pretty cool. But I really don't, I mean, that's an added benefit, I should say. So I did like that. But what I'm really excited about is on the side of the bottle, on the side of every bottle, they have the universal color name. So if they make something like icy blue or something, right? I'm just making up a color. If they have something called icy blue as their part of their 6-step process, on the side of the bottle, it might say light pale blue or light sky blue. It's because every color has a universally accepted name. And then there are companies that will take that color, put it in a bottle, and call it something that's like fantastical or something. They might put like a really dark olive in a bottle and call it like ogre skin or something. But on the side of the bottle, it'll say dark olive. I'm super excited about that. But then they've got so I could compare it to my other brands, or I can know exactly what that color is going to be without having to guess. But most importantly, I mean, that is important, but most importantly, the paint itself is supposed to have 3 times as much pigment. And that has been a problem with some of my army painter, specifically the yellows and the reds, don't cover over darker colors very well, right? And I would have to like immediately jump to those colors with like a test. So if I was going to test a model, I would be sure to make sure that it has yellows and reds on it, and I would have to test those yellows and reds over a dark primer. Like usually I'll prime a French infantry figure. If it's not in a greatcoat, of course, I'll paint it white because he usually has a lot of white on his uniform. And I can use watered down paints to create the artificial highlights. Kind of like contrast painting. But like my World War II figures and stuff, I like to prime with a darker color. Like maybe a dark brown or a uniform color like a field gray or Russian green or something like that, and then build up from that. And I don't foresee needing reds or yellows on a World War II figure. But if I was painting a Brunswick figure, I might just prime in black because you wouldn't need to do much base coating because the primer would take care of that. But they do have units with like salmon and reds and yellows. So specifically like pom-poms and stuff might be a blue and a yellow or whatever. And I would like to test those on top of the dark black or whatever. Just to see. And then also, okay, this is not going to go for all 3 battalions. I can feel it right now. The the other colors might have a stronger pigment as well. Well, they're supposed to. They're supposed to be 3 times. So I wrote them and I said I'd be interested in doing a video review uh, and not only like doing a what's in the box or a painting demonstration. Other than that, I would also like to use it during my painting projects and let my customers see the results I can get with just using the Army Painter Fanatic line. It's supposed to be coming out like mid this year, but I do know that there are some streamers out there that have already started previewing it. And so basically they must have the production line already finished. Now the reason why I'm priming these guys, I painted them brown because I wanted that to be the undercoat. And then I went over their greatcoats in khaki, which is a pretty light color. The khaki I was using came out very light, almost white. Well, not white, but super light. And then I mixed in a little bit of this ochre khaki to darken it up a little bit, because the ochre khaki is actually a better color. And by mixing them, the ochre khaki and the straight khaki was still just a little bit too light. So I figured by putting this wash on, I might be getting it back to closer to ochre khaki. Yeah, I'm going to mix another few drops. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Not many, because I only got 1 stick in that. So I put a fairly, I'm gonna have, well, how do I say this? I put an order in at Hobby Link, because I knew I needed some supplies for my terrain boards that I'm currently in the process of working with, and like foliage is what I really needed. And while I was shopping, I saw that AK had some 2 mil static grass in a fairly large tub. It's 250 milliliters, which normally, if you buy static grass anywhere at Hobby Link, you get about 60 or 80 milliliters for the same price. So I went ahead and ordered some, mainly because I wanted to see the quality and how well it covers. But it's primarily my static grass. I pretty much only use on figures, and not terrain boards. I don't make a whole lot of terrain boards, to be honest. Because I make like uh, bespoke boards for specific battles that I plan to run. Um, my next set of boards, which I already know I'm going to make another set of boards. It's going to be, they're going to be flat with no hills. It's going to be completely flat, but I am thinking about making them double-sided. And if I do that, then I can make like roads that are maybe one side could be bespoke for one battle, and then another side could be bespoke for another battle. Or I can make them generic enough that they could be used on any battle. But usually, if I'm going to do something that's that generic, I'll just lay out a blanket. If I'm going to make a board, go through the effort of making a board, why not make it bespoke to a specific battle? And I was thinking Waterloo, of course. Specifically, like the left flank and then the right flank of Waterloo. Okay, so these, I could add that. Okay, never mind. I'm going to leave that out. I wasn't sure if the first color was going to be dry by the time I got to the end. And I put these gloves on mainly because these popsicle sticks, the paint rubs off, specifically on the white one, but it rubs off on your fingers. Plus, I want to preserve my hands because currently I don't have any blisters. All right, so what would be the next color? Flesh. But it doesn't have to be flesh. It could actually be the boots. I'm not sure which one would go faster. Yeah, I think I'm going to do. Because the black that I'm going to use for their boots, I'm also going to use it on certain other pieces of their kit, but I'm not going to do it at the same time. So black will be used later as well. And it's not even black, it is dark gray. Yeah. I should be able to just slap it onto their boots and then do the cuffs of their pants later. And because it's at the bottom where the wash is dripping down, it shouldn't hurt the black at all. These are the thoughts that go through my mind. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit at a time so I don't waste paint. We're going to do a couple of drops of water. Oh, that might be too much. Okay, I was thinking about adding some flow improver, but I don't need to do that. Not with the amount of water I squeezed in there by accident. Okay, these guys have got to be a little bit more careful because I've already painted their pants. All right, so like I said, I put an order in with Hobby Link, and by doing so, specifically that AK static grass was about $10, 9 something. And I was like, that's a good deal for 250 milliliters. And then I said, I wonder exactly what this static grass is all about, what other colors might be available. So I went to the AK website and I found out it was only $5 at AK, so it's half price if you order it direct. So that got me kind of thinking. So I ordered a couple more colors. Now the AK website does have a much higher shipping. So if I was to calculate it out, it's probably closer to like $6, maybe $6 or $7. But that's still cheaper than Hobby Link, which was 9 plus. So that was good. Okay, and while I was on Hobby Link, I also decided to replenish my Woodland Scenics blended earth or blended turf, and I noticed it was about $10 as well, but it was approximately 32 ounces, and so I had to convert. 32 ounces is like 900 and change milliliters. So it's like 4 times as much for twice the price. Well, it was 4 times as much on HobbyLink. It was 4 times as much for the same price. But now I'm comparing it to the actual AK website. So it's about half. So it's double the price for 4 times as much. So that winds up being about half the price. But again, the turf is not static grass. It's a foam. I've used it before. I've used a ton of it. I used it almost exclusively for many, 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 many years on all my Napoleonic figures, all my Warhammer figures. Everything was this Woodland Scenics. Okay, so I know what it looks like and know how it handles on on a figure, but I think it's going to be great for terrain tables, and that's precisely what it was designed for. Woodland Scenics is all their stuff's made for like railroading layouts. So it should be okay. These guys are a little bit confusing here. I'm losing my mind. So I ordered some blended turf. I plan to use it on my Quattro Raw boards. Even though the boards already have blocked paper, I'm going to use the Woodland Scenics flock in patches scattered around the boards to give the terrain like a color variation. And also it'll make the board more what's the word? It'll fill some gaps as well, I suppose. But I ordered 2 tubs. The second tub I ordered was coarse. So it's going to give the grass different textures depending on where I put it. I'm going to be very judicious when it comes to laying this flock. All the terrain, I'm going to really think about where I'm going to be putting everything. So it might actually take me a little extra, time to do this. It's not just dump it out and put some glue down and just sprinkle it everywhere. I'm gonna think about where I'm gonna put it. But I do plan on okay, what's going on with that shoe here? I do plan to put it all over the place, mainly to get, again, color variations on the tiles. But that wasn't everything I needed, right? I wanted some, not just grass, but I wanted foliage. I wanted bushes and weeds and everything. So I saw that AK, and I ordered it from Hobby Link, but I saw that AK had these tufts, which the way they're packaged They're kind of packaged as a field, like you would lay it down and cover a field. And that's exactly what I wanted. But I don't want them, 6x9 or whatever the field coverage is. It looks like it's going to be about 6x9. They're also tearable, meaning I can tear them and break them down into smaller chunks. And that's what I'm going to do with those guys. And I ordered 3 different colors, but I was noticing that inventory was limited, and like one color had small, another color might have been large, and another color might have been medium. And so that's what I did. I ordered a small, a large, and a medium. And we'll see how they look. And I might even take the largest. I might even take the largest and like use my knife and cut them in half. So I can put them in more areas. Because if they're large, I know it's probably, I anticipate it means how tall they are. And if it's too tall, then I'll cut them, not from the top, I'll just cut them. So instead of a big circle, I'll cut it in half. It'll be a small semicircle, and I'll plug it in somewhere on the map. And if it doesn't feel like it'll work on the map, then I'll just save them and use them on figurines, bases, or something like that. So I plan to use Mod Podge and not Elmer's whenever I need PVA for putting flock on bases, or for using it as scenic cement on my layout. So I specifically looked for the matte and not the satin. The hard coat is satin. I could probably dull coat it and it'd probably be okay. But I got the matte Mod Podge, and in the process of getting the matte Mod Podge, I decided to order a gallon. 64 ounces maybe, or whatever it is. It's a gallon. My gallon of Elmer's is down to like a very small amount, like maybe a 20th of what it started with. That's what gave me the incentive to go ahead and get the Mod Podge as a gallon, even before I finished the Elmer's. Now, I do plan to use Elmer's as an adhesive, so like when I'm gluing my miniatures down onto the base, I'll still use the Elmer's. But when I'm gluing the static grass or any kind of terrain piece, onto a base or a tile, I'm going to use watered down Mod Podge. That's the plan. We'll see how that works. Mod Podge already has a flow additive mixed in, so it flows a lot better than Elmer's, just straight out of the bucket. But it still needs like water. So I plan to do like a 1-for-1 Mod Podge to water. Yeah, this process, just one little color is taking, I'm just doing boots, right? Now on these guys, I could just slap it on now that I'm thinking about it, because I still have to paint their pants. I don't need to be gentle like I was with the light battalion. It goes on looking like a dark gray, but it dries almost looking like a black. So I'm excited to get this AK order in. Not only did I order the static grass, but I ordered something called wet ground. It looks like it dries wet. Like it looks like it's recently muddy and not, because the muddy ground from their package is kind of like dark, like they're dark earth. Doesn't really look like muddy ground, but the wet ground looks like it's dark earth mixed with maybe some of their puddles material or something. So I ordered some puddles as well. I look forward to experimenting with that. I put an order with MIG. I don't know if you know that brand. MIG is also a Spanish brand. Paints and supplies, just like AK or Vallejo or whoever. And they got a new paint line, but there's only like 4 colors in that paint line, or maybe 4 paint sets or something like that. They don't really sell them individually. And it's basically their version of the Fanatic line. Extra pigment. So I ordered a few of them just to see. And I ordered some of their regular paint because I would like to just see what that's all about. So I've got a MIG order. Should be here any day. I ordered that a few weeks ago. So I've got like three things, three companies that are going to be sending me paint and modeling supplies. MIG, AK, and HobbyLink. And if everything goes as planned with Army Painter, I would hopefully get their Fanatic line and get to experimenting with that. Now, they did reply to my initial email. They said they're excited to work with any hobbyist, right? But they wanted to know what my YouTube channel was, and they asked me how many followers I had, or subscribers or something. I don't remember what they said. But I don't know if you know this, but we've got over 10,000. So I gave them 10,000. I gave them my address. Now, we might be too small. Maybe they were hoping I have 1 million. But you got to start somewhere, right? And I think 10,000 is pretty good. And this wash did exactly what I wanted it to do to the gray coats. It dirtied them up, darkened them down, brought out all the highlights. I'm also thinking about picking up an airbrush. But I don't really need one. But the days when it's cold outside, I don't like taking models outside and priming them, because I usually use a rattle can spray primer, and that's okay for good weather. And I also am limited by what's available in a rattle can, where if I had a airbrush, I could use any of my colors and prime them with that. And I think I would be able to do it indoors. That's the whole idea, right? Do it indoors so that I wouldn't have to be out in the cold. And I was thinking I'd only use it for priming. And maybe big projects like 28mm armor or something. Maybe I would prime them with their main color. I wouldn't paint any details with it. That'd all be brush. But the primer color would definitely be like an airbrush could easily get everything. But I've never used an airbrush ever. And I also don't want to have a compressor running inside the house. You know, I don't want that going off constantly in the house. I guess that's me just being too considerate to the rest of the family. But then, a couple of weeks ago, I discovered there are these electric portable airbrushes, right? They've got like a battery-powered compressor, and it attaches directly to the airbrush, so there's no hose needed, even though I understand that having a hose is an advantage so that you can like get around corners and stuff like that. So I've been considering getting one of these battery-powered portable airbrushes. They're about $100, you know. And trying it out. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And I won't cry about it. All right, as you know, you might have known that I got this plastic soldier order in. This is funny. This is something that happened that it's funny on two ends. I never ordered these models. I mean, I might have. See, this is what's funny, because I do remember considering ordering these models, and I might have added them to my order form for Plastic Soldier, but I don't think I actually ordered them. But then one day a box shows up from Plastic Soldier, and it's got these models in them. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, maybe I did put that order through. Maybe I failed to delete it or something. So I'm going to accept responsibility for this order and just not even concern myself. And this morning, I get an email from Plastic Soldier. This is like 2 weeks after I got the order in. I've already posted all the models to my eBay store. And they send me this email and they say, we sent you a package by mistake. It was an order from another customer. And I'm thinking to myself, well, how did it get sent to me? And how did I get a separate bill? because I got a bill for that invoice the same day. This is what I'm thinking in my head. And she says, well, I didn't write her back yet, but she says, hopefully you have all the contents. Implying, whoa, what just happened? Okay, well, his bayonet's bent. Implying that, this is what I'm thinking, she's going to want me to send it back. No, I'm not paying for shipping. Specifically, the amount of shipping that she's asking for. Like $100. Well, she might also provide me with a shipping label to send it to the proper customer. If she does that, that'll be fine. I'll box it up and I'll send it off. Whatever I've got left. So after this video, or after I get tired of painting, I will double check to see if she responded and how she responded. Now, if she wants me to just pay for it and maybe give me a credit or something on my next bill, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with accepting these models. But I also don't want them. I thought I made a mistake, but apparently they made a mistake. So what I need to do is end those listings before they sell. And that's what I'm going to do right after this paint. Now, if one of them sells or something, in the meantime, I might have to just cancel that. Because it wound up being like a $300 invoice. I could use $300. I'd like to maybe put an order in at Warlord or Wargames Atlantic. I also ordered a paintbrush from AK, but it's not an AK brush because the AK brushes, I only ordered one and I didn't like it. But this line of brushes is from another company AK is just selling them. So I was going to order one of those brushes and see if I like them. Abteilung 502, which I think is a Stug battalion that fought in the Battle of the Bulge. I think. They probably fought a lot of places. So I've already put 2 colors of wash, and this black color is 3 colors. So I've successfully put 3 colors on these models. I'm getting ready to put some flesh. So that'll be 4. I'm trying to get these done by Friday. No real reason, just set a personal goal. Yeah, I was doing a project update video a few days ago, talking about my Marshals and Generals miniatures, like how many I finished. And I was noticing on my spreadsheet that I had a shit ton more of the Allied guys done compared to the French. And that's why you see 6 French battalions here. I'm trying to make up for lost time. Now, to be fair, most of the British battalions are not based properly. But it did just make me feel like I was biased. Which I'm going to say I was, because I wanted to paint all the unique and unusual uniforms, like the Brunswick and the Nassau. I didn't get to the Dutch Belgians, except I do think I painted the Dutch Belgian like cavalry. But the French are all like same almost. Now, they do have some color variations in their Shako tops or covers and their greatcoats. But I figured that I would do the battalions in the same color greatcoats so that the units would be easily organized or easily identified. And then the Shako covers would still have a variation. So you'd get that mix match from the top down, but they would also look like they're in the same unit because the greatcoats are the same. Now, in the future, I think I'm going to do like an olive colored greatcoat on one of the units. Now, if it's a greatcoat slash bedroll wrapped up on their back, then it's always going to be gray. Uniform gray. So if you watch and paint, or if you watch this later, like a week later or whatever, just let me know if you're watching this and you're working on some project, painting American War of Independence or whatever you're painting. Let me know. I'd like to know. I'd like to know what scale you're painting, what genre, not specifically the unit, but that'd be a nice touch if you know exactly what unit you're painting. But also what game system you're painting it for, or what type of basing you use. Round, square, multi figures on one base. If you put it in the comments, after the video, maybe a year, 2 years from now, I might see it, I might not. But comments do pop up on my dashboard. And if I see it, I'll probably reply to it. If I don't see it, just know that it will help my algorithm for that video to get shared. Also, be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. That'll help my videos go. Whoa, ay, what did I just do? Ay. What did I just do? I just put some of this gray onto his greatcoat by accident. All right, it's gone now. If you haven't noticed, I've added another light. That's supposed to help me see. Okay, this is dark gray. I think I might swap it out with some black gray. Because wet, it does look like it's dark gray. Almost like German gray. But I'm going to look around at the models as they're dry and see if it's dark enough for like ammo pouches. For the boots, it's fine. But like for Shakos or ammo pouches, it doesn't look dark enough. going on wet. Now when it dries, it might be another story. And that's why I want to check the dry models. Yeah, I was so sick last week that I canceled my Traveler game. We got a couple of new players. So we're up to like 5, I think. One guy makes a character, and I say, we're playing tomorrow. And he's like, oh, really? I wasn't expecting to start so soon. And I said, yep, we got a game tomorrow night. And then that very next day, I say, oh my gosh, I cannot run this game. I feel so sick. I'm vomiting and running to the bathroom and stuff. So I put a message out. We're not playing. Hopefully he's not too disappointed. He wasn't expecting the game anyway. Is there going to be enough? Maybe. Not going to add anything until it gets dangerously low. I also thought about getting a static grass applicator, but that's great for a train layout. You know, grass that stands up. It would actually be pretty cool for figure bases too, grass standing up, but a not a wargaming table. Static grass kind of laid down or whatever is just fine, but not standing up because it's going to be trampled by figures. And if it's strong enough not to get trampled, then the figures will be sticking up off the table, however tall the static grass is. 2 mil static grass, not that big of a deal. And a figure base like a Warhammer base, which is hollow on the underside, would be no problem. It would just sit down and on top of the static grass and rest on the table. But if you've got a multi-figure base that's flat on the bottom side, those figures would stick up. And it would also possibly cause them to tip over. So this kind of tells you the kinds of things that I think about. So if I do apply static grass to my terrain boards, which I think I will, I think I'm going to put some static grass in certain places to get a certain type of effect. But I'm not going to have it standing up, like from an applicator, because it would mess with the actual gaming experience. It'd look good like on a diorama or something, but not a gaming table where you're moving figures around. And if you got figures and you try to slide them, that'd be a little harder to do on static grass as well. But like Woodland Scenic foam lays flat, should be no problem. Should be. Now I ordered some of that AK Magic Potion, which is supposed to be like a brush cleaner. We'll see how that works. It says to get it wet and let it sit for 24 hours. And I'm thinking, because it'll break down the whatever paints on there, I'm going to have to do a little research and see exactly how that's supposed to be used. And on top of that, they have something called a magic gel or something, which is what you put on your brush after you clean them off with magic potion. It's supposed to keep the bristles or help reshape the bristles to a point. I didn't see any videos on the AK site for that, but somebody out there might have made a video on how to actually use it. And if not, I'll be the first once I figure it out. And one reason why I ordered it was because I'm running out of my brush soap. How long have I had this brush soap? Hell, probably 2 years. And I use it once a month. First part of the month, I'll clean all my brushes. Okay, just double checking my work. Looks good. Down to the last stick for the boots. I think I'm going to have enough. Or at least I hope. I like to talk about TV shows as well, like what I like to watch, what I'm currently watching, um, and my critique of them. The shows that I have liked or have watched is La Brea. I don't know if you've heard of that show. It's the 10,000 BC time travel kind of deal. I liked that series. It just finished the entire series. I think 4 or 5 seasons. Um, it felt like this last season felt like the season was canceled and they knew it, so they had to rush some ideas or to come up with some ideas to bring the series to a close. And I think they did a good job. I like that series. A lot of actors I've never seen before in anything else. Except for maybe one or two. I'm watching Halo Season 2. I like it and I don't like it. I'm not a huge Halo apologist or whatever. I mean, I don't bitch about inconsistencies or changes of canon or anything like that. I could care less. I'm looking at the show and judging it based on the show, not the computer game. It's a pretty good show. The special effects are excellent, but the story is kind of slow. Last season, they had a love interest. I don't care. I thought it was fine. A bunch of people complained about it. And now you don't have any idea where that person is. Might be dead. They've made John or Master Chief out to be a brain case. I don't think he should be. I think he should be rock solid, a leader, you know, good at what he does. And they make him out to be like this PTSD problem case. I'm watching Masters of the Air. Masters of the Air, you know, it's, if you think of Band of Brothers or the Pacific, it's exactly like that. Maybe done in a different style or done with different camera angles or concepts, but it's exactly the same. But it's fun to watch. And I watched The Challenge. And I'm going to take these glasses off so I can see. We're going to take this and swap it out with this. Black gray, I think. Hold on. Before I make this decision, put my normal glasses on. Take a look at one of these bases. Okay, I can't see it with these glasses. That's good. That means on the table, they'll look really good. No, okay, these. Okay, it dries out. Very first figure. Yeah, it looks black. Yeah, these guys look black. It also might have something to do with too much water being mixed in with it. Take a look at another stick just to compare. Yeah, that's just perfectly fine. Dark gray is just perfectly fine. I don't need to swap it out. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, now we're going to do flesh, but I'm only doing faces. The hands, I'm going to do after I do the musket. We're just doing faces right now. And I am going to go have to use the little boy's room. I have to pee, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I've decided before I get going on the flesh, I'm going to move a few things, and I'm going to see what I can do about ending those Plastic Soldier Company listings so I don't accidentally sell them if they want me to return them. Yeah, if you missed the first part of the video, okay, the door thing is finished. I can close that. Okay, here we go. That cup keeps getting in my way. I gotta push it out of the way. Oh no. Okay, that's all. Okay, there's an Old Glory order in there, which is perfectly fine. So let's go to my orders. No, not orders. I guess it would be listings. Active. Wonder if I have them listed as PSC or plastic. Really? Okay, it's not listed with plastic. Let's go PSC. Yep, there we go. We'll edit this one. Okay, I got the M60. Got the T55. Oh, well, let's see if I can end all of them at the same time. There we go. Okay, they should all be ended. Alrighty. I'm not checking my email to see if she replied, but at least I didn't sell them. Okay, you flesh. I don't want to water that down too much. I think I need a bigger brush because this brush was great for the boots, but the faces are a lot bigger. Well, maybe not a lot bigger, but they are bigger. But I don't want a giant brush. I just want a brush that's going to be able to handle it. It doesn't seem larger than this brush. Larger than this brush. Okay, give me a second. Trying to break the bristles. Okay, we're going to use that brush. It's a 2 brush. Okay. Got a little protein energy bar chunk here. I'm painting upward because I don't want to get it on their great coat. And I don't mind getting it on their shako. Because the shako will come in a later color. like a glove. Okay, that works out really well. Oh, there's one more color I gotta grab. I completely base cased it. Hair. Yeah, looking at these models, the back of their necks, they have hair. And I wanted it to be like brown. We're going to go dark brown for the hair. There, I just added another color. Well, I think that makes it officially 20. Because I think my first count was 19. So what have we done today? Well, we've washed with gray. We washed with light tone. I guess dark gray and light tone. We did the boots. And now we're doing faces. And like I said, if I do 3 to 4 colors, we'll be able to finish this by Friday. No, wait, we only have, hold on, we only have 4 days. So I'm going to have to do 5 colors a day if I want to get it done by Friday. I don't normally do 5 colors a day on this many figures. I usually do 3, about 3 colors. But this is my 4th color, so if I do the hair after this, I will have done 5 colors. I know hair color should probably be not, randomized, various shades, etc. Um, but I don't concern myself too much with that usually. I pick a color that I think is a good hair color, and I just go with it. This 2.0 brush from this Sci-Fi set is actually doing really good. At first, I was kind of worried because it had a loose strand. But once that strand disappeared, now it's starting to look really good. I mean, it's working really good. And I think some of these French molds, uh, these models came out of the mold a lot better, because I'm noticing things on some of these models that I haven't noticed before on some of the same models, like the NCO's chevrons. On some of the other models, they just were non-existent. And the fingers of the hands, that was another thing that kind of stood out to me the other day when I was putting these on their popsicle sticks and priming them. The fingers are individually molded. And previously they looked like just clumps. So I don't know if they rebuilt the mold or if they just took more time doing the mold, or more talc, or however they do it. I'm not a miniature maker, so I've also looked into 3D printing, but I don't think I would 3D print 15mm stuff. Maybe some buildings, maybe some larger stuff like for bolt action. Maybe some fantasy stuff, sci-fi stuff, or just parts for like starships or crashed spaceships, or walls and stuff like that is what on bases, I would print bases. Maybe. If it was cost effective. I don't think it is. So there's that. Looks like I'm flying through the faces. That's good. I'm glad that I grabbed a bigger brush. And I'm actually not getting it on the Shanko covers, but except for a couple of them. But I really shouldn't concern myself. I don't concern myself with it. It's just, it's not happening. Even though I'm brushing upwards. Oh, these are my elites. I was like, why do they have swords? Oh yeah, they're the elites. So I've looked around for a specific color called brown, brown violet, and I can't find it anywhere. It is basically olive drab with a different name called brown violet. And Vallejo supposedly has this color because I've noticed a lot of miniature painters from the UK. Remember, I've been doing a lot of videos. Uh, a lot of miniature painters from the UK use brown violet instead of olive drab. I have a feeling it's the same color rebranded depending on your country. But then again, I didn't go directly to the Vallejo site. I've been going to places like Hobby Link. All the gray ones are done. Well, except for that gray one. I think I've run out of things to talk about. I'm just sitting here painting. My stomach is saying, hey, it's almost lunchtime. Because I had breakfast at like 7. Oh, my back. Sitting there all scrunched up. I don't know if this says anything about me, but I was presented with an option to watch either the Marvels or Aquaman. And I chose the Marvels. I guess it's because I'm a big Marvel fan and not a big DC fan. But I've heard so many negative things about the Marvels and a few negative things about Aquaman. But I just said I wanted to make up my mind for myself, you know? So I watched the Marvels and I thought it was okay. I didn't have a problem with it. Not one. And then I watched it a second time. I actually have seen the Marvels twice. Funny enough, the second time around, I didn't notice anything different. It was very much easy to follow. Now, I understand that Captain Marvel, or I should say Brie Larson, is like hated by everyone because of her anti-man uh, stance on in life, but I can look past the actor being a dumbass and looking at the character that she plays. Yeah, she kind of played a weaker Captain Marvel than what you were used to, and uh, less hero, more human. But that's okay. I will have to say that my wife got up and walked away in the middle of the movie because she doesn't follow um, complex stories very well. So if it's overly complicated or draws on a lot of information from previous movies. She doesn't really put two and two together. It might also be that the story just wasn't compelling for her. Because you had three women superheroes fighting against a woman supervillain. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but it turns out that Captain Marvel is the villain, and that the villain is actually a hero. Which is kind of complicated in the long run, but if you understood why the villain was considered a villain at the beginning, and then the villain hero dichotomy, it kind of changed halfway through the movie. That might be when my wife got up and left. I'm having to do this a little bit more carefully because the blue is right up. I don't want to mess with the blue. It's probably going to be okay because I'm probably going to have to do like a a red collar anyway. I just don't want to give myself more work. Yeah, I definitely don't like this mold. I think it's advancing is the pose. This other pose is defending, which means they're standing with their bayonets forward or up or whatever. These guys don't have greatcoats on, but they do have Jayco covers. Um, yeah, except for maybe that guy. Yeah, these molds aren't that good either. There's a little bit of broken mold action going on. Okay, that was a big mistake. Okay, it's on the great. Okay, okay, that's okay because it's on a great coat that's wrapped over his shoulder, which I still have to paint. Okay, so that's fine. All right, last stick of faces. Okay. Okay. Wave 1 of flesh is done. See what time it is. It's 11:41. Looks like Go For It Painting is back, and he says hello. Now, for some reason, it's not popping up. Oh, okay. Let's try this. There it is. Hello, Go For It. I don't know if you're still here, but I was asking if you have a channel. If you do have a channel, let me know what it is, and I'd be glad to check that out. Okay, I'm not going to do hair right now. I've decided I am going to do one color, two colors. I'm going to do it really quickly. I'm going to do wood. Now this wood I plan to use on the drum. And since there's only 6 models with drums, that should go pretty quick. Okay. All righty. Might be tearing my gloves open. So instead of doing it the old-fashioned way, I thought this was the one that opened. They've got two of these, I think. Ah, there it goes. Oh, there he is. One wooden drum. Two wooden drums. There's three. There's 4. Five. All right, so that's all the wood. Okay. All right, now I'm going to do the skin on the drum. These are all unique colors that aren't being used in any other place. And I do the top and the bottom actually. I mean, you might not ever see the bottom, but I'm only mounting them single file on a 20 millimeter depth base. So there's a good chance that a casual observer could pick up the base and look underneath and see the bottom of the drum. Okay, 1, 2, here's the 3. Plus, I would know it's not done, so it would work on my self-confidence, or I would my perfectionist would come out and say, "Why didn't I do the bottoms?" Yeah, I don't want to do any of the hats until I do the hair. Because it'll be just so much harder to do the hair after I've already done the Jacos. Okay. Okay, so all the skin is done. Yeah, I'm going to do hair and Shakos next. These 3 colors are going to be my Shako colors. Uh, wait. This guy. Why do I have Necromancer? I don't think I even need Necromancer. Okay, now I'm kind of confusing myself. I want the like a Russian uniform Shako cover. I want the ochre khaki Shako cover. And I want a dark, like a black almost, Shako cover. And I think that's why I was doing Necromancer's cloak, because it's not black, kind of a dark gray. This is too dark though. Oh, I'm not using Necromancer's Cloak. I'm using Uniform Gray. Uniform Gray for the actual uniforms, the greatcoats. So Monster Brown and Uniform Gray. Monster Brown for the backpacks. Uniform Gray for any out of place greatcoats. But the Shako cover. Maybe that's why I want a Necromancer. Because I don't want it to be as dark as everything else. Yep, we're going Necromancer's Cloak for that. Yep, that's what I was. Maybe I had thought about this already. Yep, these three colors are going to be my Shako colors. But I'm going to do hair before I do the Shakos. But I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to end the video right here. I'm going to eat some lunch, and I might come back and do the hair off camera. So I guess you'll find out maybe not tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to stream tomorrow. But definitely by Thursday. Basalt gray. Got that for a reason. Okay. I'm losing my mind. All right, guys. I'll catch you no later than Thursday. All right, you guys.